Well, 67 Pakistani nationals have been sent home following a sting operation at OR Tambo International Airport. Home Affairs Minister Aaron Motsoaledi says they were trying to enter the country without complying with immigration laws. They were stopped earlier today with questionable visas, having travelled from Dubai. The minister joins me now to discuss this further. Thank you so much, Minister Motsoaledi, for joining us this evening here on eNCA. Maybe just, provide more details surrounding this issue. 67 Pakistani nationals have been shown away at our borders. Yeah, just maybe briefly explain to us what transpired there at the airport.
Thank you. Good evening, Baron, and good evening to the listeners and the viewers out there. Look, we conducted a sting operation, which was done jointly by the Hawks, the Department of Home Affairs, the Border Management Authority, and State Security. And during that sting operation, we netted these 67 Pakistanis who were coming into the country. And there are lots of important questions that they could not answer. The sting operation was put in place because we were observing certain tendencies, especially from Pakistani nationals, which were disconcerting and which were disturbing. And so that's why we put up the sting operation. And indeed, they were caught.
I want to touch base on that last bit you mentioned. Maybe, just shed more light on what prompted this decision to conduct this sting operation specifically. What were these specific indicators that you were looking at that raised suspicion?
Well, seeing a large number of Pakistanis starting to book planes into the country, hearing hotels complaining of an inordinately large number of Pakistanis who book into their hotels and they never turn up. They never take up those positions. And in this particular instance, because we have got an APP, an advanced passenger plan, Baron, I need to explain that a bit. Since 2010 World Cup, we put up a 24-hour operation, which is called an APP or Advanced Passenger Plan. Any plane that is departing from any part of the globe within any 24-hour period are obliged to send us electronically what is called the passenger manifest. This is a list of passengers in that plane. And we take the passenger manifest, check against our systems, even check against Interpol to see if there's any individual who's undesirable there. So this particular plane, when they sent the passenger manifest, there were 67 people, all of them from Pakistan, all purporting to be visiting South Africa individually and for different reasons. Now, that is very suspicious, obvious.
So all these 67 Pakistani nationals were boarded on one plane?
Yes. The plane was having 280 people, if my memory serves me well, but 67 were Pakistanis. Remember, it left from Dubai.
All right. But Minister, I mean, if it wasn't for this operation, you would not have, known about these 67 Pakistani nationals coming into the country. Surely this then highlights the fact that, the concerning issue, rather, that the country's immigration system, there is flaws there.
Well, we have accepted long ago that there are flaws in the legislation. But in terms of, if you are talking about the fact that we would not have caught them if it was not the sting operation, know that, Baron, that we don't use one firewall. We use multiple firewalls. I've just told you about the advanced passenger plan that we have, whereby we receive the passenger manifest. I am now telling you about the sting operation, but also each and every person is processed individually by an immigration officer. And that's why when they were asking them questions, they realized that the questions do not really fit very well or are not satisfying. So we use multiple firewalls. What I accede, and I've acceded long ago, and I've mentioned it publicly, is that we need to overhaul all the immigration laws of the country because they do have a problem, a very serious problem. And very soon we'll be issuing a white paper to that effect, that we are changing the immigration regime of the country.
And maybe, share some light here. Why do these Pakistani nationals, why do they choose South Africa as a destination then to enter the country legally?
Well, your guess is as good as mine, but I'm sure you are aware that there are lots of Pakistanis, especially in rural areas, who have opened spaza shops. My own thinking, Baron, is that there is no nation on earth whose citizens cross mountains and rivers and oceans to go to another country just to establish spaza shops. It's something that has been puzzling me all the time, but we do have quite a large number of them in far rural areas, and there have been lots of complaints. I've actually have to meet the National House of Traditional Leaders together with Contralesa, the organization that represents traditional leaders in the country, to discuss this issue. I actually have asked the Minister of Culture that we conduct a 2-day workshop with all traditional leaders and Salga to discuss this issue of spaza shops all over the country by people, especially from that part of the world, Pakistan and Bangladesh. It is something that really need to be looked into. And these individuals are just making me think that perhaps it's even much more urgent, because what are they coming to do? They couldn't answer the questions. Where are they going to? What is their purpose of being here? They just say we're visiting. But when you ask them exactly where are they going to sleep and all that, you find a lot of discrepancies, being given names of hotels that do not exist, or being given a name of a hotel that does exist. And you phone in, they said, no, we don't have such a booking. We don't have a booking of such an individual.
Yeah, I think...
Or
yeah,
booking in a hotel, as I said, and not turning up to take the accommodation which you have booked for. All those are very suspicious issues.
I think, Minister, just very lastly, we are running out of time. Are you then, as you said, this might be a bigger issue at hand here. Is this then something you would need to discuss with your counterpart in Pakistan or with their government to address this issue if it is a bigger issue at hand here? And then also maybe, share some light on how you will be making sure that something like this doesn't happen on a daily basis. It doesn't have to take a special sting operation to make sure that people don't enter the country illegally.
Well, I want to repeat again that we don't use one system. We've got multiple firewalls. And remember also, the problem with our borders was that they were not managed. But now we've established a border management authority, which must manage all our borders. That includes airport. Actually, on the 5th of October, the president is going to be officially launching this border management authority as a third law enforcement agency, whose job on everyday basis is exactly to make sure that whoever comes in through our borders and points of entry is a person who's supposed to be in South Africa. For your information, it's not only this issue that happened at the airport. The border guards in South Africa were deployed on the 14th of July, 2022, that's last year. Within a year, when you look at what they've done, they've already stopped 35,000 people, not 67 as we have done here. A total of 35,000 people who were trying to enter the country illegally, they turned them away. Also, during the same period, they've picked up 95,000 people who are undesirable, whose passports have to be stamped undesirable, meaning they won't be allowed to come back into South Africa for the next 5 years, at least not legally so. At the same time, they've picked up 161 people who were doing things that should not be happening. And also they've stopped 141 cars which were stolen in South Africa and were about to cross the borders. So we are doing a lot of things. So the fact that we did this sting operation and issued a statement doesn't mean that's the only thing that we are doing. We are doing everything in our power to make sure that we manage our borders.
Thank you so much, Minister Aaron Motsoaledi, just shedding some light here on what exactly transpired at OR Tambo International Airport, where 67 Pakistani nationals have been sent home following a sting operation at the airport. And as the minister said, there are very strict measures in place at our borders to make sure that something like this doesn't happen again. 67 nationals, they were all on one flight boarding from Dubai to South Africa. And of course, when asked about several questions regarding their visit to South Africa, they couldn't answer. They couldn't say where exactly which hotels they were going to stay at, mentioning fake family members' names, and also in some instances mentioning hotels that don't even exist in the country upon questioning them about their visit to South Africa. We'll be keeping you updated on that story if there are any new developments, but let's go to this.